Hey, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA in Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. Let's go ahead and begin. The next question is, how do I know if I have a good disability attorney? Okay, so first off, keyword there, good versus great versus meh. Okay, what's tough about answering this question is that from your perspective, because from my perspective, it's not the same, but from your perspective, you're not always going to see all the little things your disability attorney is doing. Your disability attorney will check in with you and say, hey, I sent this out on this date, yada, 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 but you're not going to see all those physical things. The reality is that in the very beginning of the filing process, a lot of the legwork occurs by the claimant. So when we ask the claimant, well, if we need letters from your friends and family, it usually comes better from you than for them to get a letter from the attorney saying, we are requesting from you, yada, 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 because that puts people on their heels. Next thing, when it comes to medical evidence, in the very beginning of the disability process, the DDS group will go ahead and request those records unless they can't obtain them, in which case look at your attorney to go after them. So the reality here is that, and I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but if a DDS rep can't get your medical records from a facility, and it's like a facility you've been to that's key for your actual claim, and you don't have an attorney, you are SOL. You are SOL. That means that evidence ain't coming in. It's over. Sorry so bad, but done. That evidence ain't coming in. Okay, so that's another reason why you should have an attorney, because if you don't have an attorney to go ahead and beat the door down on those guys, you're probably not going to get it, because you might be like, well, I'll just go there and show my butt and I'll get them. Not going to work usually, okay, because to get to the records department, you have to go through quite a bit. And not only on top of that, if you don't have a legal reason to go after them, and be able to file those, violations with HHS, then guess what? It ain't going to happen. So, with that said, you should always have an attorney up front when filing so that all the medical records can be obtained and submitted. Now, in addition to that, how can you tell if you have a good attorney? You're able to get a hold of that person. Whether it's a he or she, you're able to get a hold of that person. Why is that so crucial? Because a lot of attorneys are not easily able to be get a hold of them. Now, remember, disability attorneys are unique. They're not like PI attorneys. They're not like maritime attorneys. Disability attorneys are working with thousands of people, and that's why they're not always readily available. Another thing you want to watch for is how well their staff is trained. We use the 10-level system on this end, which I really like because it gets me all the answers I need right up front directly in the forms. It's big. If you combine all the forms of paperwork that I use just for each claimant, and this is just the baseline, this is not like any special stuff. It's about that big of paper, 10-level system. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to fill out that many forms. Well, if you go with a crap attorney, you won't have to, and you can just sit there and they won't do anything and nothing will happen and you'll keep getting denied and life is good and you'll be happy. Me, I want to know as much about you as possible right up front. I'm not going to sit there and ask you a million questions. I'm going to expect you to fill out the form so I can learn everything about you, vocational, academia, penal, whatever. So how do you know if you have a good disability attorney in 2019? Well, aside from being able to get a hold of them and their staff is well trained, it's one of those things where you can run questions by them that are specific to your situation. Some of these attorneys will go ahead and give you kind of like blotto template general answers, and they'll be like, great, I've got to go, yada yada. Make sure you can get those custom questions in specific to your claim, and you can walk with them and talk with them and get them to really walk you through some dark questions that you might have, some gray area questions that you may have. About what you should do with your future and things like that. Another thing is your disability attorney should be able to run questions with you, such as hearing questions, such as CE questions, such as medical review questions. Like, for example, the classics, I get kind of pissy with claimants that come from other firms. I don't get pissy, I just get really depressed about it. A lot of claimants will come from big box firms. And I'm not going to say their name, but M&M down here in Central Florida. And the claimants have no idea what their most severe mental impairment or what their most severe physical impairment is, what their most severe mental impairment is, of those two, which is the worst, and then being able to list all the other impairments that they have in bullet point form that limit their ability to work. Like, if you can't even do that, you're not ready. You're not even ready to file. Like, you don't even know what the hell's wrong with you. So that's one of the other things that really kind of annoys me, is that these claimants will They'll be like, well, I thought I had a good attorney. Well, why did you think you had a good attorney? Well, because he came from a giant building and he wore a nice suit and she had a really authoritative voice and blah, 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 blah. That's not none of that makes a great attorney. You can meet that when I started my firm, I set up a tent, a canopy outside and met with homeless people. And I like to think myself as better than good as a disability attorney. And that didn't include a nice wool suit. That didn't include a nice big building. That didn't include an authoritative voice. That was me pushing, working, and hustling my butt to learn as much as I could, to do as much good as I could, to win as many claims as I could so that the word would get spread around. It worked. It worked. I'm not going to go back out there in the sun in 95 to 99 degree weather and set up a tent anymore because I overheat. Because it is ridiculous. As you can see, I put on a little weight over the past 6 years from having to constantly have to work on claims. Keep in mind, this is Sunday night. Monday night, we have to wake up early to go to an office. So my point to you is, what makes a great attorney for disability benefits is somebody who is able to customize the program for you, be available to answer your questions, make demands of you, and honestly, this is the big thing. Make demands of you to convince you to actually complete them. Could be something simple like, okay, you got to go get a prescription for a walker, or I need 5 letters from your friends and family about that particular incident, or whatever. That attorney needs to be able to convince you what they need from you so that you actually get it done. That's super duper important. Because if you're sitting there like, I don't know, this guy looks like a hippie, blah, blah, blah. In that particular situation, you do not have the, let's call it like it is, the kind of like belief that the attorney can do great things for you, and that you're not gonna do stuff then. You're not gonna build your claim. You're not gonna work with the attorney to build your claim. You're not gonna allow the attorney to do things as well because you're gonna be worried about it having a negative impact on something else. So something to consider. Okay. What else? Let's talk about this. So we brought up the how do I know if I have a good disability attorney? How do you know if you have a really bad disability attorney? Now, just going beyond the you can't get a hold of that attorney, they haven't run questions for you, your hearing's around the corner, you haven't talked to your attorney ever. Just getting aside from the classics, those are the ones that people always call in, like, I never got to talk to my, let's just get past that. How do you know you've got a really bad disability attorney? They're not talking about the people that are actually running the thing that you're interacting with. If your disability attorney doesn't know that judge, if your disability doesn't know that DDS rep, if your disability attorney doesn't know what's going on with your particular claim because, and I mean, sure, there's some weird situations where you just might not know, but if your disability attorney doesn't have a strong grasp and understanding as to what's going on, then there's a problem. Because your disability attorney should know the people on the other side of the fence, because that shows that they've been doing this long enough to actually have met them, worked with them many times, and gone from there. Now, this is not to say that the people on the other side of the fence are brilliant. This is to say that the people on the other side of the fence may have weaknesses and strengths, and to build a claim to be beneficial in the viewpoint of those types of people. So, okay. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA in Orlando, Orange County Social Security Disability Law Firm. If you have a question about your claim, or you want a free consultation, or you want a custom video made about a particular topic, or the most up-to-date information about how this stuff works, that's fine. Shoot me an email or give me a call, and we will go from there. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.